Hey all, this is 012 Boku coming at you in the spoiler zone. Nah. It's gonna be weird doing that different, but coming at 012 Boku comes at you with the spoiler zone with this. We're gonna spoil this somewhat today. I've only seen this movie one time before. It was actually, I think, at some point this last year. Yeah, I know I've seen it, and it's great stuff. It is a good movie. I love what there is, and great film overall, and just great stuff that we have, and it's a very good film, and like I said, I've only seen it once, so I don't think I can spoil it too much, but I will do what I can to go through this movie and remember all the characters, remember what was involved, but I mean, just great film. And what we have here, plus I looked on my usual thing, checking the cast lists for this movie, and for Bullitt, I don't know why they have a huge cast list. I remember there were important characters, not too many of them to be of huge use, but stuff is really weird, and that ends up what happening, and things like that. And let's see. What I can gather is Bullitt is a great crime film. I believe from what I saw, 19. Well, that's the DVD when the DVD was produced. Yeah, 1968. A good film from 1968. Heavily, and these were considered cop action films back then, except they were full of drama as well as the action. And you could say they were action dramas because in early cop films, they really cared about having the action, but also knowing what policemen did and us getting a glimpse into what cops possibly do on a daily basis. And for Bullitt, it was no different. And you'll probably see this when I review Bullitt here today, and in the future I'm going to do two other great films by also legendary action film producer Philip D'Antoni. And Philip D'Antoni is the producer of this film. The director is Peter Yates. And, Philip D'Antoni was famous for these three big cop films, the most famous being Bullitt and The French Connection, I think, more respectively, The French Connection. And, it's a great film, Bullitt. Bullitt was the first in 1968. I think French Connection was 1971, so 2 years before he did, before William Friedkin, who directed The French Connection, also did The Exorcist in 73, and there's also The 7-Ups of Roy Scheider, which is also a really good movie. Probably not as well talked about, but The 7-Ups is also an excellent movie. And what we get is like Steve McQueen in this film, who plays Bullitt, who, as we see, is a hard-edged cop, and apparently there is this man, as the film starts out. Like I said, I've only seen this once, so I'm gonna do my best to recount this film. I know I'm probably not the best at this wholly, but I must say that I'm gonna do my best for it. But Steve McQueen plays Detective Lieutenant Frank Bullitt, who basically is known as a hard-edged cop, doesn't have a full respect for authority, but he does his he does his stuff well to put his things together, and he's called in to the office to help take charge and protect a criminal who is standing trial against the mafia. And this man who is standing trial against the mafia was a person that we saw at the beginning who broke into this office to steal some documents and then broke out and escaped the mafia trying to kill him. He's apparently this former lieutenant of the mob or something like that, but he broke out, got away. He came to San Francisco to escape and do what he needed to do as well. And there's just all these different things that we see that go on, and he's told that he has to look after this witness that escaped and to keep him away from the mafia because he would testify against the mob. And he does it. He's a little reluctant, doesn't fully understand what's going on, but Frank Bullitt agrees to it. As the movie goes on, we see how Bullitt meets with this. I think he's the DA. He's the DA in this movie, Walter Chambers, and or I might make sure it was Chambers. I forget if it was Chambers or Superintendent Chalmers. Sorry, I had to quote Simpsons, but his his name is Walter Chalmers. I believe he is a district attorney for San Francisco in this movie, and him and Bullitt hit it off badly at first because you could tell that Chalmers is a politician, and there seems to be an angle that Chalmers is playing that we fully don't understand, and we don't completely know where this is headed yet and how it's going to go. But from what I get and understand is that we see Bullitt just working with Chalmers, not really wanting to, but he goes ahead for it. So Bullitt, his partners, let's see, oh shoot, wrong thing here. His partners, Sergeant Delgetti and Detective Sergeant Carl Stanton. So Detective Stanton and Delgetti and Detective Bullitt, Frank Bullitt, are going to take turns watching this guy. I think it's Stagnetti that watches first, and they're at the hotel. Stanton and Bullitt are doing their own thing, doing what they need to do, and Stagnetti's watching the witness. What happens is someone comes into the apartment room that they're in. I think the guy that they're watching, I could be wrong about this, because like I said, this is how much of the cast are in here. I'm just going to do the main people that they have. I think the guy's name is, I think it's who, I don't know if it is the guy who plays him, but I think it's either Pat Ranella, who plays Johnny Ross, or it's Felice Orlandi, who plays Albert Edward Rennick, who is one of the two. And I think with these guys is you have him come through, and like I said, it's one of those guys who I think is testifying, and so it's either Rennick or Ross who betrays Stagnetti, and the other two, who like I said is either Rennick and or Ross. So I'm going to say that it was Rennick who's the guy that was watching, and Ross was the guy who does the attack with Bill Hickman, who is also the driver for this movie, but he's all, or is he, or let me see, is he the shotgun dude? Let me see, see. Yeah, that could be Bill Hickman, because Bill Hickman is, Bill Hickman is the driver who drives the thing in this movie, but, he's the driver. But yeah, there's a guy named Phil who's played by Bill Hickman who's the driver, and then, Paul Gagne is the shotgun-toting killer, and they come in, they basically shoot up, Stagnetti. He goes down. Basically, Phil, the shotgun killer, and I'm going to say Rennick Ross. So, sorry if this is bad, and if people can tell me who the guy who was supposed to be the witness, who really wasn't the witness, is, turns out to the end of this movie dead, let me know in the comment section below. Because like I've said, I've only seen this movie once before, and sometimes when I see a movie once, it is hard to place it, but I'm so far, I think I'm doing well with remembering how the movie goes. And, so Rennick Ross gets away, and with them, so it's really weird what's going on. And what happens is you have Stanton and Bullitt. Let me see if it's Stanton or Strand, I forget. Oh, wait a minute. Stanton's the guy. Okay, so Dalgetty is Don Gordon, and Stanton is Carl Reindel. Sorry, guys. See, this is what I'm saying. Movies that I've watched a lot of times before. But yeah, this stuff sometimes is really hard for me to get at first glance. But you have Dalgetty and Bullitt get there the following morning. They find Stanton injured and down. They bring him to the hospital, and then all of a sudden, there is the witness who went with these two guys is basically found injured. So you don't know what's going on, because, like he said, he went with them, but it looks like it was a trick. Maybe there was a scuffle, because then Rennick Ross is also in the hospital as well, and he has a quote-unquote broken jaw and can't testify. So as you can imagine, Dalgetty and Bullitt are worried about their partner who's fighting for his life in the hospital. You have Chalmers come in, chew both of them out. Bullitt's not having it, though. Chalmers is like, there's no way these guys could have found whatever hotel room we were at. We were careful. We didn't say anything. We didn't mention anything. We did right. And now you're saying that these guys who were apparently chasing him, who's injured him, he basically got out of there with a quote-unquote broken jaw, which we find hard to believe. There's no way he could have found out without you mentioning something, Chalmers. And, Chalmers and Bullitt, Steve McQueen and Robert Vaughn have a great back and forth in that scene. I just watched it before doing this interview. It's a great back and forth. Steve McQueen nails it, Robert Vaughn nails it well, and both those guys had great chemistry throughout this movie. And so, as you can see, this leads Bullitt and his partner Dalgetty to find out what's going on, and they, try to look into what really happened. What also ends up happening is the witness, I believe, ends up escaping the hospital somehow. They don't know exactly what's going on, and so they're missing the witness. Chalmers is livid by this, but they know Chalmers is trying to gain something. Like, there's something undercover that he was trying to get. And I think it was, I think what Chalmers was after was money, like the Mafia was paying him off or something, or like this witness had a score that he was going to get Chalmers or something. So I forget exactly what Walter Chalmers' beef is, but I know he was also after something, because he was also doing something to hinder the investigation that Frank Bullitt and his partner Dalgetty and Stanton were in, regarding this witness. And as you can imagine, what goes on, they track down the two people responsible for what happened to Stanton. Dalgetty isn't there, but you have Bullitt, who's in his car. I forget what type of car it is, but it's one of the great car chases through San Francisco. Them going through all the wide twists and turns, going through every bump. Just exciting, spectacular stuff. And it gets to the point where, there's a shotgun user. The shotgun guy is trying to shoot a Bullitt, trying to evade the shotguns. And I forget what happens. I think they crash. They crash into a gas truck the shotgun man, and Phil, the driver, played by Bill Hickman, they crash into the a gasoline truck. Car explodes with them in it, and as does the truck. Luckily, nobody was in the gasoline truck, I think. Bullitt's trying to find out who they were. They get very little on it, but then after this whole thing, he learns that from the shotgun killer as well as Phil, he learns that there was a connection, and there was a connection to another mob. This witness was never planning to testify at all. He was never going to do it. I guess what he wanted to do was leave the United States or get out of the country altogether. So it leads to Dalgetty and Bullitt getting to the airport, and Bullitt's getting there, trying to track this guy down. Dalgetty's also hot on his heels. They're both working together, and it gets to a point where they're chasing each other through the airport. And as soon as I think Rennick Ross tries to get on the airplane, he sees them, starts firing in the airport. People are panicking. They're trying to keep up with this guy. This guy's trying to make it to the airplane. I mean, obviously, he was probably thinking he was going to hijack a plane or something, or find a different vehicle to escape somehow. I think Bullitt finds him near or on the tarmac, takes him out with like 3 or 4 shots. Rennick Ross is dead, lying on the ground. His partner Dalgetty gets there, and they realize, and he realizes, holy crap, but we did it, we got this guy. But it's like Dalgetty and Bullitt have this realization of, what are we sort of doing? And the movie ends with Bullitt going back upstairs, sort of how the movie also started a little bit later on, as soon as we were done doing Rennick Ross, that he gets there, I think his girlfriend is in his apartment, and he, takes out his gun, he leads his gun to the side, there's like a shot where he's just looking in the mirror, sort of stupefied like this, thinking about what happened, and like he's sort of sitting there, and there's like a sort of fade out shot where we see him in the background, and there's his gun, and he's sitting there thinking, is this really what I want to do? Do I really want to be this type of cop in my life? So again, it realizes the messy business that we're in, because as we all know, it's not easy being a policeman, and if you want a life or family, it's probably not easy being a cop and trying to balance that out. At least from what I know, and what they were maybe trying to get at with this film. So, I mean, yeah, Steve McQueen played it beautifully and was great for the role. Let's see. And then we can go to, I believe it's, Robert Vaughn, who plays Walter Chalmers. And before I get into him, I'm going to go grab my pitcher. I need a drink of water. I'm going to put it over here because, I definitely need one. All right, and let's see here. I'm back again, guys. Sorry. You can tell I was getting dehydrated at the start of this thing, but my water and my cup are near me, so shouldn't be too bad. I'm going to move a little bit further. Go, sir, give me a minute. Like I say, guys, raw and off the cuff. I'm just glad I know how to edit, but, man, raw and off the cuff. That's what you got with me. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, and Robert Vaughn, like I said, plays Walter Chalmers. And Walter Chalmers, I know I already went through a little bit with him. Like I said, he's trying to get at Rennick Ross to be this witness against the mafia. But, you don't know his true angle, because I do believe he gave up Rennick Ross to those guys in the hotel room, which also betrayed the cops, which got Stanton injured. I can't remember if Stanton dies or not, but I know Stanton gets badly injured, and, it leads Dalgetty and Bullitt onto this huge chase thing, and they were both lied to, and especially lied to Bullitt, because Bullitt is the main detective in charge, and, it leads to this, just big chase and between the two, and like Chalmers wanting to do his job, thinking that Bullitt's in the way, not helping, thinking that Bullitt's too rough, he doesn't have respect for authority, you're a young guy and all this stuff, and and then he's like, well, Chalmers, you're a young guy too, you have no idea what you're doing, I think you're playing us all. I think you gave up Rennick Ross's location on purpose. You know, there's an angle that you're playing. And I mean, Walter Chalmers is just a slimy, sleazy politician. And Robert Vaughn plays that so well. Like, you really know that this guy is out for blood. He doesn't care how it happens. He blames the cops for everything, especially Bullitt, and just realizes, you know, your department, they have no idea what they're doing. You know, you're messing this up. I'm not gonna let you ruin my career. That's, you know, he's telling you about that I just watched on YouTube. He says, well, okay, if I go down, I will lead to your public crucifixion. I will crucify you in public. And, you know, like, just end your entire career. And, like, Bullitt just ends with, like, okay, Chalmers, you handle it your way, I'm gonna handle it mine. And just magic scene. And, you know, just great stuff. And, you know, Robert Vaughn just knows how to play a slimy, sleazy character so very well. We also have, Jacqueline, Bisset, who plays, Bullitt's girlfriend, Kathy, and Jacqueline Bisset, you know, is this guy who, or not this guy, but this girl who really likes him. She wants to be with him. Bullitt sort of like brushes her off quite a few times through this movie, but then again, you know, because he's a cop. I have to do this, you know, I don't want to get too bogged down, but I really like this girl, so I'm thinking about it, I want to be with her. And she brings a nice warmth to Bullitt's life, because she wants to be there for him, she wants to love him, she's caring and nurturing of him, you know, she's got a nice attitude, she's willing to deal with all the bad stuff. She also, in a way, wants to understand what makes Bullitt the way that he himself is, because he's realizing that, you know, maybe I don't have to necessarily be this way 110%, you know. There's probably more that we can maybe fit this together and, you know, work this out. And she has a way of making Bullitt see that. And Jacqueline Bisset just has a very natural warmth to bring to Kathy as his girlfriend. And I think there's a part where he goes to visit her at work, and I think she works in a painting gallery, and I think the gallery had nude people in it and stuff, from what I can remember. It was really weird, but I think she works at a painting gallery, and, you know, he visits her, and he's all being coy, meeting with her, and she's, you know, letting him on and stuff. And again, there's the whole thing at the end of the film, after he kills Rennick Ross, goes into his bathroom and, you know, does what he needs to do, and there's the picture of the gun. I think she comes up behind him and embraces him and lets him know, you know, things are okay, I'm here to support you. So Jacqueline Bisset played a nice humanistic role to the picture. And then there's Don Gordon, who plays like I said, Sergeant Delgetti. And Sergeant Delgetti is his second-in-command partner. You know, he's also ticked that Stanton, their third partner on the team, gets gunned down and is in the hospital. He's with Bullitt trying to, you know, make things right, to track down this witness who's apparently escaping, and, you know, this was never really the plan to have it at all, and, you know, so they're working together, you know, side by side, checking the mean streets of San Francisco. And the one thing I like about Delgetti is he always has Bullitt's back, you know, calm, cool, collected, a good friend, very tough himself, not as hugely, like, under the table as Bullitt is, but Delgetti does do things by the book, and he's not afraid to get his hands dirty and bend the rules if needed. But, you know, Don Gordon plays that, you know, really well. He gets that character, and you can see that there's a friendship, an understanding, a partnership, and a respect between Delgetti and Bullitt that Steve McQueen and Don Gordon get throughout the movie, and you can tell that Don Gordon and Steve McQueen had a lot of chemistry, and much like I think the French Connection, I'd probably even say they did it in the 7-Up. Steve McQueen and Don Gordon went throughout San Francisco, and they got to check and see all these sites for the cops in San Francisco, where they would see like drug lords and barons, and they go to gang hideouts, or they'd be hiding drugs and money everywhere. So they got to, for a day or a week, I think it was for a week. They got to be with real cops for a week to learn what they do and to experience full force, which I think is a very awesome and cool thing. I think it's cool that they used to do that back then, to get the idea of what they needed to do. So it's cool that Steve McQueen and Don Gordon got to participate in that. There is also now we're gonna get to the part where the part of the characters that I can't remember fully offhand. There's Robert Duvall, who plays Weisberg. He's a Sunshine cab driver, and Robert Duvall, again, very young, good role for him. This is also right before The Godfather, and he seemed to know Bullitt really well, be good friends with Bullitt, know things around town, and be good friends with him. So that's who Weisberg sort of was, and it's cool to see Robert Duvall in this role. Simon Oakland played Captain Sam Bennett, and Norman Fell. Norman Fell played Captain Baker. The late great Norman Fell played Captain Baker, and the captains, they understand what Bullitt and Delgetty are going through. They get it, and both these actors are good in the role, but they're like admonishing them, saying, somebody's after you. You guys need to lay low. How did this get screwed up so bad? What happened here? What happened there? So they're just doing their jobs throughout the movie and trying to set the pace for what needs to be taking place. And it's really just hard for them to do that because they know something fishy was going on here with Walter Chalmers and everybody. And again, sorry this has been a little bit of a weird review. Like I said, I've only seen this once. I think I've had the idea, though, for what this movie's been about. I think I got the main gist of it. I just wish I could remember what all the characters did. Obviously, I don't remember what Weisberg, Robert Duvall's character, if it was just a cameo role or if he was in the role more. I don't remember what Simon Oakland and Norman Fell did. I know they were the captains, but I don't know how big and officially involved they were. So I'm sorry that I don't fully remember. I get the gist of what they did, but I don't fully remember, and I said I'd be doing full reviews. So sorry that it's not as full, but I can't fully remember. I've not seen Bullitt in a while. I really need to go back and watch this, but like I said, I do plan to do like explaining the villains of these movies and explaining like doing redos of these movies, like re-reviewing them, and like going through the reviews just as well. And after seeing this one, I probably would like to do Bullitt once I have Bullitt more figured out after watching it a few more times, probably, and stuff like that. But I think I do remember that is pretty much the gist of it, which isn't bad, because I know that's how it ends, is the shootout at the airport, and they end up killing the witness who was trying to flee San Francisco. He had no intention of testifying against the mafia. And I can't really remember what happened to Chalmers, but I think like Chalmers still comes out and threatens Delgetty and Bullitt with crap. But they know that Chalmers is, bullshitting. I mean, they probably know that Chalmers is going to find a way to make it stick, but, I mean, they basically, both Delgetty and Bullitt did their jobs. I mean, it was just so messed up how Chalmers is blaming them for everything. Even though we know Chalmers is doing underhand stuff, I think, with the mafia in this movie. And, let's see. What else can I mention? Oh, yes. Like I said, the car chase in this movie, very epic car chase. Very great stuff. Just, like, a great action scene. Like I said, the scenes that require tension are tension. I love how we get the detective work between Del Getty and Bullitt throughout this movie, where they're checking the city, looking for clues, talking to people, finding stuff out. Just, you get to see in these early films, and even in the Dirty Harry pictures, you get to see the real detective work at hand that we really don't get with action movies anymore. It's like straight through the action, and I know that a lot of things people can't keep their attention spans for too long like they used to, but it was cool. It's cool to me seeing the drama mixed in with an action movie. I think that's really cool that you can combine the two. But again, the movies in the 1960s and 70s were done way different than how they are now, and it was a different era and bits of filmmaking. So different styles, different time. And Philip D'Antoni, for starting out with Bullitt, really went good. I have to say, between the 7-Ups and the French Connection, Bullitt is my last favorite, but that's not saying anything bad against Bullitt, because Bullitt is, after I saw Bullitt, because I first could have saw this movie with my family a couple of years ago. I actually declined to watch it with them, because I was not yet into these type of old films all the way. I knew I saw the Dirty Harrys was into that, but that's because I think with some of these old films, I liked the characters. I didn't care for the story too overall, but I liked the characters more and more as I grew older and started to understand film in a more deeper tone. But great characters in this movie. The action's pretty damn good. I love the drama of the cop stuff that we get to see, and it's great stuff. It's great for what we get to see, and it really is enjoyable. An enjoyable movie from top to bottom. Steve McQueen is great. Robert Vaughn is great. Jacqueline Bisset, like I said, plays a nice humanistic role. Don Gordon is awesome. It's cool to see Robert Duvall in this movie. Great stuff overall. And that is basically it being spoiled. From what I can tell, I gave this film a solid 8 out of 10. It wasn't really a 10 out of 10 for me. I know a lot of people give this movie a 10 out of 10. And I hate to say it, I know it's because of that car chase. But guys, I hate to say this, as good as the car chase is in Bullitt, the best car... I'll say this is the number 1-2 car chase. I'll go from car chases at least the greatest. I'll say the 7-Ups, Bullitt, and French Connection. But that's because I think the car chase and French Connection, or car and train chase, if you will, was way more better, more tight. There was more drama and just really hard-edged stuff with with French Connection. So I have to say the French Connection had the better car chase, and I also think the French Connection is a better film than Bullitt, but that's just me. Bullitt is a great film in its own right, but I know when I saw this too, this is why I also need to go back. The plot did confuse me a little bit, because again, like I told you, I don't know if Chalmers exactly knew what was going on with the Mafia, but I think maybe he was working with them, or working with the witness to support his own deal, to move his career ahead. Because that's the other thing they say too, is Chalmers is very ambitious and wants to move ahead, and wants to be at the top. He has political gains for the top, and a lot of the stuff he does is politically motivated, and he doesn't care how to get there. He's a very dirty politician, and Chalmers has that, which once again is a great role for Robert Vaughn to play. He was really good in the role. And so great film, Bullitt. Just a great film, great for Steve McQueen. I know Steve McQueen did a lot of other great films in this, but I know a lot of people say that this was the film that defined him. And I know a lot of people say, if you talk about a Steve McQueen film, you instantly think of Bullitt. Sorry, whoa. Starting to yawn here. My bad. Probably because, when I talk and do these things, I get a little tired. And yeah, just to give you the part of the main characters, I'll also do a really quick thing to, at least this is what Rotten Tomatoes has. This is at least what they have. So let's see. Let's see. Steve McQueen as Detective Lieutenant Frank Bullitt. Robert Vaughn as Walter Chalmers. Jacqueline Bisset as Kathy. Don Gordon as Detective Sergeant Delgetti. Robert DeVole as Weisberg, Sunshine Cab Driver. Simon Oakland, Captain Sam Bennett. Norman Fell, Captain Baker. George Stanford Brown, Dr. Willard. Justin Tarr, Eddie Carl Reindl, Detective Sergeant Carl Stanton. Felice Orlandi, Albert Edward Rennick. Vic Tabak, Pete Ross. Robert Lipton, First Aid. Ed Peck, Westcott. Pat Ranella, Johnny Ross, Paul Gang. Paul Gagne or Gagne. Shotgun Toting Killer, John Epria, Mike, Al Checo, Desk Clerk, Bill Hickman, Phil. So yeah, that's how many people there were, and I can't remember all these people at all. I cannot remember all these guys. I don't know what the heck they all did in this film or who they represented. Oh yeah, and pretty dang good score by Lalo Schifrin. I forgot, like Clint Eastwood film great, and other like 60s TV show and cop drama score producer and creator. Lalo Schifrin did it, so that was great for this movie too. So really great that, you know, he worked on the score for this movie. And let's see, now we're gonna get to the credit parts of it. So here we go, and let's see. We have Bullitt, who oh wait, no, sorry. So this is the critic consensus from Rotten Tomatoes, and I quote, Steve McQueen is cool as ice in this thrilling police procedural that also happens to contain arguably the greatest movie car chase ever. So obviously, from the sounds of it, people liked it for Steve McQueen and the car chase. Like I said, the car chase is awesome. Steve McQueen's performance is awesome. But, you know, great stuff. But like I said, the story is pretty dang good. And if you want to know what it was, 98% on the critic tomato meter. So I can agree with that. Great film. And then 85% audience score. That audiences love this film. So all in all, for the first time in a while, great stuff from fans and critics across the board, and stuff that I can absolutely, totally agree with. So I can definitely agree with that completely. Oh, sorry. Wake up, Zach. Maybe probably gonna need some tea, I guess. Let's see here. Yes, let's get to the things. Okay, there is only one bad thing, so I will do these 5 positive and the 1 negative. So okay, let's see here. This is from John Mahoney, Hollywood Reporter, from October 17th, 2018, and I quote, "It is simply one of the most exciting and intelligent action films in years. Probably the best good cop film we can expect to encounter." I can agree with that mostly. I know there's others. Like, again, I know people crapped on the Lethal Weapon series, but there's the Lethal Weapons, the Dirty Harry saga. You have French Connection, the 7-Ups. I know there's been other good cop films. I mean, hell, even though that was more drama, The Untouchables. I mean, there's quite a few good ones out there that can be praised. I mean, I agree with him, but like Bullitt was not the only one. Bullitt was good, but it's not the only one. I just want to reiterate that for you guys. Let's see. Here's another one from Variety from March 1st of 2007, and that is all they say. There's no person who wrote it, just says Variety. And I quote, "Good scripting and excellent direction by Peter Yates maintain deliberately low-key but mounting suspense." Yes, that is a good way to give this movie its due credit. That's what I feel as well. Like, like they didn't play anything up too hugely, but man, when you got into the meat of it, and like I said, I still have to try to figure how everything went down with this witness and Walter Chalmers and everything else. I didn't fully understand that for this one time that I've seen Bullitt, but I can definitely say that the film built it like that. Now, granted, I will say the film is very slow, guys. If you've not seen Bullitt, it is, I'd say it's even slower than The French Connection and The 7-Ups at times. But it's still a great movie. Just, I would say, don't watch this movie if you're tired, because that's probably another reason that was bad for me, because I know I did it a little bit the first time I saw this. I had to even rewind some of the scenes. I still decided to keep going, even though I was tired. But I fell asleep for part of this film. I felt bad. I had to rewind it and go back and try to do my best to keep up. This is before I was having caffeine sometimes when I really needed it to continue films. So I sort of changed it. Like I said, after I'm done probably doing this, probably going to have some white tea or something, get some caffeine in my system. I mean, well, again, as a guy, so I don't know if you can tell by the camera, but I showered before doing this. And man, that's probably what's doing it. Showers relax me and get me tired and fall asleep. And I wanted to look clean for you guys. I was looking pretty scrummy. You know, I realize why my skin is doing this now. I've been sunburned, so I am, I'm peeling. Rolling off the cuff, guys. Man, being sunburned sucks. Let's see here. Back to the, to the critic reviews, and let's see. This is the only negative one, and it's from David Kerr, a Chicago Reader, from March 1st of 2007 as well. And there isn't much here, and what there is awfully easy. Well, that's a pretty shitty review, and that doesn't explain much. So, honestly, David Kerr, fuck you. You're entitled to your opinion, but fuck you without even divulging into that. Because I know the film is slow, and the plot can get a little confusing, but I did my best to do this review, and I have to say I did not a great job, but I say I did an okay to an alright job explaining this film. So, you know, I mean, I know it's going to be confusing for people who watch this with me, but man, you're not even giving it credit for the parts that even deserve the credit either, dude. So, jeez Louise. Again, if you're this type of person, don't watch action films. Stay away from them. Even the ones from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Don't watch them if it's not your thing. Oh, man. Let's see. And here is another positive review from February 9th, 2006 from Tom Milne from Time Out. The action sequences are brilliant, done without trickery and real locations, including a great car chase which spawned 1,000 imitations to lend an extraordinary sense of immediacy to the shenanigans and gunfights. That one I can agree with too, because the action in this film is done pretty dang well for when there is the action. And, of course, this is probably one of the first big car chases that took place that did start it all. So we can't say that there wasn't anything in previous things prior, because Bullitt was sort of the first film to start this, and like they said, it's sort of kept up in other films. But of course, you know, Philip D'Antoni, for the 3 films I set off for you guys, Philip D'Antoni wanted there to be great car chases in all his films. He thought, you know, it sort of called for it, like he started a thing and he wanted to keep it going. So he did it for The French Connection and The 7-Ups, and he wanted that to just continue for his stuff. So, you know, that was Philip D'Antoni's calling card. And I have to say, for all 3 of those films, all 3 car chases, Bullitt, French Connection, and The 7-Ups are awesomely done. Let's see. And, let's see, this guy spelled slick wrong. He spelled slick, S-T-L-I-C-K. Slick. Slick, stylish. Whoa. Sorry, Clark Collins. Here's another positive review from Clark Collins of Empire Magazine. And this is from July 6th of 2005. And I quote, "Slick, stylish, and ineffably cool," or slick, as he says, slick, stylish, and ineffably cool. This was perhaps Steve McQueen's defining role. Also mention goes to the uncredited star of the film, San Francisco. Yeah, San Francisco was really well shot in this movie, and like I said, people know Steve McQueen for Bullitt. A lot of people say this is probably his best role is Bullitt. I would have to agree. I've not seen many other Steve McQueen films, or if at all. I can't recall really at the top of my head, but I have to say this is probably one of his best. And San Francisco was shown well here. If you want another series of films that I think do a better job, well, I shouldn't say better, but do a great job in showing San Francisco as well, I have to say the Dirty Harry films, guys. The Dirty Harry saga really showcases San Francisco really well, because all those films were shot on location just as well. And, it worked really good for Dirty Harry, worked good for Bullitt. So, yeah, San Francisco is shown really well. Too bad we can't say that nowadays, eh? Y'all know what I mean. And let's see. Last positive review from Douglas Pratt, the Hollywood Reporter. And this is from June 21st of 2005. And I quote, "Even though the story almost makes no sense," like I said, confusing. I have to agree with them about that. Even though the story almost makes no sense, and the Oscar-winning editing has several illogical cuts. Really, you're going to be that bad with it? I wouldn't have went that bad. I didn't find the editing that bad. Bullitt is an exquisitely satisfying motion picture, particularly if there is still an adolescent boy lodged somewhere in your psyche. Alright, I'm glad for your positive review, but I don't understand the end to your quote, and I can agree the story can be confusing. I know it has to make sense there. It can be confusing, but I know there has to be some sense to it there, because the structure is definitely there. And like I said, I think it's in their because the dialogue is written very clever. And if you don't pay attention to the dialogue, you can miss things. So I've got to say, the story's probably there in the dialogue somewhere, but I have to go back and rewatch. So I agree with you on that, Douglas Pratt. But the Oscar-winning editing that you're cutting off with illogical cuts, that's nitpicky, dude. You're being nitpicky right there. And the adolescent boy in the psyche, I have no idea what you're getting at there. So, hey. Alright, well that is the critic portion of my review for the spoiler zone, which actually this works now that I'm calling it the spoiler zone. It really does work in this regard now. And what I'll say is, hey, we're under an hour, so I'll try, well, maybe I won't be as brief, because it depends if I get on a rant. Because I'm going to do what I've always done again, and I'm going to say, after talking with my mom today, not in the greatest of moods, because it was a heavy, bad talk with what's been going on recently, and I will say this. Folks, I know we're on the verge, and I know at the time of this recording, tomorrow is going to be September 11th, 2021. I'm a little frightened for tomorrow. I hope nothing bad happens. By the grace of God, by our allegiance to the country, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I hope that we will be okay. I hope nothing happens. I believe nothing will happen, but in the back of my mind, I have doubts. And I will just say it like this, because of the blunders. The blunders we have gotten from the administration, from the president, from everything else. And I don't care if it's with the Afghanistan stuff, COVID, or whatnot. I will say this, and regardless of what happens in the coming days and months as we approach the holidays, guys, I'm just going to say this. Be kind to each other. Be kind to one another, please. We have to get back to that. To a kindness. To just respecting other people's opinions without trying to fight one another right then and there. You know, I have a lot of friends who are on different sides of the aisle. I have friends of mine who are on the same side. We still have our disagreements over certain things and stuff like that. But, you know, I can respect everybody's opinion. I may not see why. I may not understand it all the time. But you know what? We don't have to be at each other's throats. Just because we may not agree with people, doesn't mean we have to fight with them. And also, folks, we don't need to inquire about every aspect of people's lives. Like, especially when it comes to this, and I'll say it like this because this is how much it pisses me off, because this is sort of the topic of conversation I had with my mom today. Especially when it comes to the fucking vaccine. If you want to get vaccinated, get fucking vaccinated. If you want to do it, do it. If you want to wear a mask, wear a fucking mask. If you want to make sure you're healthy and well put together, do it. But for the love of God, I don't care if someone's unhealthy, healthy, whatever. As long as they're not going out there, killing people, shooting people, trying to deal drugs to kids, or trying to bother kids, or, you know, do any sort of raping, looting, pillaging, or senseless violence at all. If none of that's going on, stay out of people's business. Who cares if Susie Smith, Debbie Downer, Joe Schmo, John Smith, Mr. Larry Tom, or, Betty Boop, or whoever we want to say, whatever they do in their life, that is them. That is them. Because I got vaccinated, I'll admit, and I'm going to just say it, because this is how much I don't care, and, hey, if work wants to talk to me about this afterwards, they can. But I got vaccinated at work. They pushed me sort of into a corner. I told them I didn't want to do it. I told them I felt healthy enough. Give it to somebody else who needs it right now. I'll think about it later. Because I'm not anti-vax, but I didn't want to take this one. And I'll tell you this, I've not had a flu shot in years either. And you know what? If I've gotten the flu, that was my choice to make to get the flu. Because I chose not to get vaccinated. So if I got sick, I got sick. It's our choice to take care of ourselves. We get sick, you take the medicines, you do what you can, you try to eat healthy, you try to avoid going out to get other people sick when you yourself are sick. Not when you're healthy. You don't need to do this shit when you're healthy. When you're healthy, you can go out there, frolic all day, skipping the tulips, and, like, all the fuck you want. But, as far as today, this year, and what last year went, and probably I'll even say the last couple of years, stay out of fucking people's business. Like, we don't need to inquire who has what, or what is done what to who, or who has done that. Because unless it's on a grand scale where it's going to affect us, our neighbors, and our personal lives, especially when it is super, 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 super dangerous, and not just involving fucking sickness, it is none of our business. We shouldn't be hounding people to get a vaccine when this stuff is a choice. You shouldn't have to yell at people if they're not wearing masks, because it's a choice. If you are wearing a mask, you're doing what you can to protect yourself. If your family's wearing a mask and they're right along with you, they're doing what they can to protect yourself along with you. And if you got the vaccine, you're doing what you can to protect yourself. How do we know if this stuff works if we don't take the time to see if it works, folks? Doing this type of witch hunt crap pisses me off. And I'm done with it. Just telling you right now, I'm done with it. So, I'll say what I've said before. If work does double masking, I'm not doing it. If they want to do a vaccine passport, I'm not doing it. If there's a third shot, I'm not doing it. Because I'm doing okay with the 2 shots. Yes, I've had allergies, but you know what? They're allergies. You know, I've gotten flus over the years. I've gotten sinus infections. You know what? There's only so much you can do to not get sick. Having to say that you have to get a vaccine just because it'll protect anything, everyone should know, even without knowing the proper science all the time, is bullshit. Because we've learned through school onto studying science ourselves and looking things up, and I know I have. Nothing is 100%. You know, just like how I'm a cancer survivor. But you know what? I'm still checking periodically and going to the doctors, seeing how my blood levels are. You know, seeing how certain things are, making sure no cancer comes back. I'm still doing what I can to check that. If I ever start coughing uncontrollably without a reason for why I'm coughing, like if I can't stop and speak like I almost did, or if I have weird pains anywhere, you know, that like cause me this, or if I fall down, like pass out or get dizzy or start having seizures from some sort of tumor again or something, I hope to God I have enough sense to go back to the doctor and get tested. You know, to find out, because then I know, yeah, something's going on. I probably need to, but if I'm healthy, I'm good and I'm going to keep doing what I need to do to be healthy. And you know, it was my choice to start taking vitamins. The vitamin D I sort of had to, because Banner University fucked up my levels for not giving my testosterone on time, because that's the thing, I have to take testosterone shots, thanks to my cancer. But, you know, I mean, they messed that up, so that's why I have to take vitamin D, because it's recommended because of what was messed up from Danner, but I don't have to take multivitamins. I don't have to take fish oil / flaxseed oil. I don't have to take that. I choose to, because I know it's a good thing to take. I know they're good to have. I've been told by my family, I've been told by my friends, I've had myself look at science videos and read science articles. I know it's good to take. You know, some people say that taking vitamins isn't all good for us. I know we shouldn't have caffeine and whatnot a lot, but I have pops from time to time that have caffeine in them. I drink coffee with caffeine. Like I said, I'm about to have a tea, and that has more caffeine in it. But the thing is, I don't overdo it. I don't go crazy. Again, it's a choice, because, you know what, I could say one day that I don't want to drink this anymore, that I want to have it. Choices. And plus, it's my business. I mean, you know, some people could say, well, why don't you drink coffee? Coffee's good for you. I just don't like it. Oh, well, you should drink coffee. Well, it's none of your business if I don't drink coffee. You know, I mean, similar case in point. Like, just be happy, be kind to each other, and don't do this Inquisition shit. Don't do it. We should not be up people's butts about stuff that is not our business when it is a choice movement. When it is a choice, and we don't have to be in people's businesses about it, there's no point to it. So just be kind to each other, stay out of people's business, and just respect whether they've been vaccinated or whether they've been vaccinated or not. And here's the thing. If you're vaccinated, if you wear masks and all those things, then according to the government version of science, you're good. Unless they change the rules for the upkeep time. But then you'll follow them and wear your masks and wear your, you know, little, like, visors. You know, we're getting to the point where we'll probably just be walking around with hazmat suits or stormtrooper gear. And, you know, you'll all be fine, covered in head to toe. You know, nothing will touch you in your metal casing or bubble ball. But I don't want to do all that. My choice. So, hey, just be kind to each other and, you know, be good. That's all I can ask. Because, it pains me. We should not be this bad. We've lost a lot of respect for things and people. And, this goes for science, natural life itself, with the science, and with religion and God. And again, some of the violent natural things that we've had in the world for the last few years, I sometimes think it's God's doing. It could also be the devil or evil. But I also think sometimes it could be God's doing, because we have been a terrible people to each other. All around the world. Here, other countries all around the world. We have been a terrible people. And when you think of the areas in the United States that have been terrible natural disasters, other countries around the world, rare tornadoes in China and in other parts of Asia where they've never happened before, and all this different stuff. Yeah, granted, not everybody dies or not everybody does that, but just even the little bit of damage they cause. It's almost like he's saying, wake up. Stop treating each other this way. I know there's evils and bad things in the world, but you're all acting like a bunch of shits. You're giving the devil this power. He's loving it. He's rolling in it. So God's probably like, okay, you guys want to act like a bunch of jackasses? Right back at you. I'll send a disaster your way. Want a little bit of an earthquake? You want a bad volcano to blow up? You want a flood to happen? You want a hurricane? I'll give it to you. I mean, like I said, it's a terrible thing to think about, but I'll look at what happened in Arizona. We've had a lot of good rain, but we've had some rain this year that's caused some terrible flooding in parts again. We had the fire in the mountains last year that was really bad, and whether that was man-made or not, the fire lasted for quite a bit. We didn't get any rain relief or nothing. We've been in a drought for several years. We had, that fire was started by that lightning strike. We had it at 3 a.m. in the morning that morning, because I remember, big flash of light, that time at the beginning of late June, July, whenever that was, and, you heard the thunder crash, like, all over town. Everybody heard it, and it was a big thing, and, you woke up, and you saw that the mountains were on fire, and then we saw how bad it got. Several people, I knew several friends who lived up in the mountains who possibly had to evacuate. I met several people at work who did have to evacuate their homes and, tried. I really give credit to the fire force for what they did, but I mean, you look at all the different things, and sometimes it just makes you think. Maybe it is all coincidence, but maybe it isn't. I've always believed stuff happens in life for a reason, because I believe in my faith has taught me, there is divine, in my opinion, there is divine retribution and divinity out there. I think we just have to be kinder. And it just makes me mad. And most of all, I'm depressed and disappointed. Because I used to never think this way. I never used to be a downer. I never want to come onto my YouTube videos and talk about this at the end of every review. But the reason I do is because it's part of the platform that I want to get out there and just talk to you folks that maybe I'm a guy talking out of my ass. You don't have to listen to me. Again, your choice. But, it's just, there's messed up stuff. And, we need to wake up. I know I'm awake. I know there's a lot of other people who are awake. A lot of my friends are awake. My other friends are, entitled to their opinions, but I wish they would wake up too. The friends who aren't awake. And I just want a different administration. I want different people leading us, because I do not trust the people in there now. I mean, guys, America, the United States of America should not be this way. We shouldn't. And again, we should just keep out of people's businesses when it isn't that important. This vaccine should have never been given a holier-than-thou thing. But that's what I even told my mom today. These politicians should not be holier-than-thou. But a lot of them think they are. A lot of them think they are, and it makes me mad. Because you are not higher than God. Like I learned recently by watching something at CPAC where they talked about the Constitution and the rights of people. It is God. God, care of the states themselves, and then government is third. So God, the individual states of the United States of America and the government. You're third, not first. God is number one, not you. Alright, I think I'll end it there, guys. I have an hour and 5 minutes, so, nice talking to you. Sorry I went off on on a rant again. But, like I said, you get me going on this shit, and I lose it. Ugh, I lose it. Yeah, but alright. But, you guys have a great day. Thank you for watching the review of Bullitt. And, I will talk to you guys again soon. Have a great day. Be careful out there tomorrow on September 11th and whatnot. Just let us all pray that nothing bad will happen, and also keep in your hearts what happened that day. Let us remember it. Let us never forget this day, and honestly, like I said too, let us not forget this day and Pearl Harbor. 2 biggest days where we were attacked in our country. That I'm doing my best not to forget both those days, because they're important. We should never forget them. It is a part of our history. It is a sad part of our history. But in both instances, they should have made us stronger. Some cases they did, some cases they didn't. But, it needs to be remembered. And, those souls that died on both December 7th, 1941 and September 11th, 2001, let us never forget. Let us never forget, and let us always remember. Keep them in our heart, in our prayers and thoughts, and just do what we can. We should not forget. But just have a great day. Enjoy the weekend. Hopefully, I've not depressed you, and I'll see you guys again soon with another movie review. All right. Have a good day, guys. Deuces.